A brand isn't a product or service. It's an emotion, a perception, a memory, an experience. Everybody has, whether they know it or not, a personal brand. You mean something to everybody in your life, and that meaning is your brand. Your brand is what the people around you perceive you to be. Maybe you think people don't get you. If so, then there may be a gap between what you think you are and what other people think you are. Closing the gap is an important part of your personal brand management campaign. Businesses use brand management techniques to build firm, lasting relationships with their customers. You can do the same thing. You can use principles drawn from business to manage your personal brand. Your relationships are the most important part of your life, and your brand is all about relationships. In today's video, we'll give you the formula of how to stand out from the crowd, build a strong and good personal brand. By growing your brand in all facets of your life, you become more of who you are now and who you aspire to be in the future. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe for more awesome content. Think of the people you know. Close your eyes and say their names. What comes to mind? Their brand. Your perception of each person is that individual's brand. Whether your perceptions are negative or positive, you've unconsciously branded each person. That impression exists in your mind. Your brand exists the same way in the minds of others. Now, just try thinking of the word brand itself. Probably some individual product brands will come into your head. Pay attention to what you are thinking. You probably don't think of anything specific about the product or service the brand represents. Instead, you are more likely to think of the product in terms of a quality its brand conveys, such as affection, trust, respect, and so on. Brand research has repeatedly demonstrated that what people remember about a brand is its quality. Brands are like relationships that way. Your relationships are all about the very same factors: trust, affection, and respect. When you think of relationships, you think of or feel these emotions and reactions. Endeavor to build a personal brand that people will associate with positive emotions or qualities. Brands are valuable, and what makes them valuable are the emotions they elicit. Provided the emotions are positive, brands evoke positive emotions that impel people to buy. But the flip side is also true. Negative emotions devalue brands and repel buyers instead of attracting them. What determines or creates your brand is not what you have in mind, but what others have in mind. People decide, on the basis of your behavior, what values to associate with you. Once they have made this decision, they will assume it's correct. In other words, if people have a positive impression of you and you slip up once, they'll assume it was an anomaly and disregard it. Mistakes won't damage your brand appreciably, unless they happen often enough to make people change their expectations. If you have a positive brand and you deliver more than people expect, your brand will become even stronger and more positive. In this personal realm, as in the commercial world, strong brands are relevant. When is a brand relevant? It is relevant when, and only to the extent that, the values it represents matter. Strong brands resonate emotionally with customers. It's a good start to be distinctive, but unless the consumer or relates on an emotional level to what the brand stands for, there will be little power in the brand. Relevance powers a brand forward whenever it demonstrates what's important. To be relevant, a brand needs to solve the problems of its customers. Therefore, relevance is a process rather than a final destination in and of itself. Before a brand becomes truly relevant, it must determine the customer's true needs and then address those needs competently. Only when a brand places a high priority on understanding and serving the needs of the customer will it earn the mantle of relevancy. Distinctive. Belief and commitment make a brand distinctive. When you believe in something and make a commitment to action on the basis of what you believe, you will create a strong, distinctive brand. Whenever a business or a person decides what is important, its values, and then commits to acting on those beliefs, he or it starts standing out from the crowd. A strong brand always stands for something noteworthy, something worthwhile. A strong brand will influence the way consumers think, feel, and the perceptions they form. A strong brand is always values-based, because values influence the priorities the brand sets. Consistent. Consistency means delivering the same experience every time. This confirms expectations and makes people feel justified in trusting your brand. Strong brands deliver a well-defined experience again and again. A business only gets recognition for whatever it does, consistently well. For consumers, consistency is established by dependability of behavior. Over time, consumers come to know how they expect the business brand to respond to their needs. In the absence of actual experience with a brand, consumers rely on the experiences of others. Businesses use the concept of a brand ladder to describe the progression of a brand through several stages of value. On the lower rungs of the ladder, the customer doesn't expect much. Deliver the minimum performance expected, and the customer will have a positive but not terribly strong impression. As interaction increases, the customer comes to expect more and more, to depend upon higher and higher qualities of performance. As the brand delivers, step by step, it climbs the brand ladder. Use the same concept to analyze and understand your personal relationships. Remember that each and every interaction you have with each and every person you meet offers a chance to climb the brand ladder. Remember that a strong brand is not always a good brand. When you have a strong brand, people know what you stand for. But people knew what John Gotti stood for. He had a strong brand, but not a good, positive, or moral brand. When you have a strong brand, you stand out from the crowd. People have proportionately strong expectations. What your matters to them, for good or ill. As you build your personal brand, you will become aware that in branding, there is no such thing as perception being different from or at odds with reality. Perception and reality are the same thing in brand space. Your brand really is what other people think it is. You might say, "I'm not really like that." But your brand does not depend on what you perceive. It depends on what others perceive about you. However, you can analyze their perceptions and affect them over time. Just as physical objects have dimensions, so do brands. The three dimensions of brand are: competency, what you must be able to do to meet minimum expectations and to show capability; standard, how you deliver, what level of quality you accept and sustain over time and across various endeavors; style, your personal touch. Analyze your personal brand based on these three dimensions. Start with your competencies. List the kinds of relationships you have with people and what you are good at doing. You may be a mother or father, a sister or brother, a wife or husband, a friend, a writer. Jot these relationships and abilities down under a column headed Competencies. In another column, list your standards. Are you a loner or sociable? Reliably honest or opportunistic? Disciplined or undisciplined? And so on. Finally, make a list of your style characteristics. Are you creative or analytical? Passive or aggressive? Firm or flexible? Humble or arrogant? Retiring or outgoing? Taken together, these columns create a picture of your brand. Values matter, and a brand must reflect or project values. Authenticity is one of the most important values because it builds trust. A brand that is not authentic leaves people saying, "There's something about this I just don't trust." Authenticity is a function of a purpose. Purpose refers to the ultimate meaning or hope that guides and shapes your life. Are you trying to make money at any cost? To live for the day or to be a saint? Your purpose will color your relationships with others. If your purpose is merely to make as much money as you can and manipulate others to achieve that purpose, your brand will connote manipulative falsity. Vision. Vision is your view of what the future can or ought to hold. Many people stop exercising this inner vision when they are adolescents. As a result, they plod along a path they first glimpsed as teenagers. Instead, it is a good idea to revisit and review your vision and expectations. Value. Values in this sense refer to those things you deeply and firmly believe. If you don't deeply and firmly believe anything, your brand cannot be authentic. A personal brand values profile provides a checklist you can use to test and identify your deepest brand-building values. You have a personal brand, whether you realize it or not. You know that other people have an impression of you, but you may not realize that their impression is your brand. Since your personal brand affects every relationship, it's a good idea to take your brand in hand and manage it. Among the management techniques you should use are: brand statement, write down what you want your brand to be; metrics, measure how well your brand meets the objectives you've set; brand building techniques, put your brand in order when things go wrong. Each stage of brand management requires a careful examination of every aspect of your relationships with other people. Examine yourself daily to see whether what you have done reflects or mars your brand. Did you fail to return a phone call? Get angry? Treat someone with disrespect? How many times? Is it your brand objective to be such a person? Repair the damage immediately, and you will sustain a strong, positive brand. All you really need to remember about personal brand building is: write your personal brand statement, revisit and refine it over time. Respect your brand and obey it. Measure what you do against what your brand says you ought to do. Be true to your brand. Check how other people react to you to see whether your brand is relevant to them. Be consistent. Police yourself against a personal truth in labeling law. Carefully construct your brand environment by choosing your friends. Make sure your employer supports your brand. If not, change employers. Consider relationships as assets. There you have it, folks. You've just been equipped on how to build a strong personal brand. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a comment, like and subscribe. Click on the bell button to get notified when our next video is out. Until next time, peace.